Stalkers are obsessive boundary breakers.
He asked me to sleep with him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs.
They can be psychotic or delusional.
I think he's psychotic.
Hold on! They can be violent. This woman is a textbook piece of an abusive human being. They can be quiet.
I think he's homosexual.
Fiona! They can be a lot of different things, but at their very baseline, a stalker is a person that is obsessed with you that doesn't care about your boundaries. That's more than just toxic to me. That's being mentally and psychologically abusive. I've said this before, but I really want to say this at the top of this video because normally it's in the middle of my videos or towards the end, and I think it's one of the most important details when you're dealing with a stalker. If you are being stalked by somebody, or if someone you know is dealing with a stalker, in my opinion, it's really important to not say, my stalker, or Mary Stalker. Because what it ends up doing is it creates a role for this person, and it also implies a relationship. A stalker will do anything to stay in your life, whether they're a good person in your life or a bad person. They are obsessed with you and they just want to be a part of your life. So when you say my stalker, even though you see stalker as a really bad word, they don't see it that way. They just hear my. They just hear the person's name that they're obsessed with and their connection to it. So in my opinion, it's generally better to say the stalker or the person stalking Mary rather than my stalker. Recently, there was a Netflix series called Baby Reindeer where this guy documents his experience dealing with a stalker. Let's take a look at Fiona Harvey, the accused stalker, and see, is she really an obsessive boundary breaker that takes no accountability and thinks that nothing is her fault?
First of all, why have you decided to go public?
The internet sleuths tracked me down and hounded me and gave me death threats, so it wasn't really a choice. I was forced into this situation.
What do you hope to achieve in this interview?
I came on your show because you're a veteran broadcaster. I think you'll give me a fair hearing. You were persecuted yourself not so long ago. So that's why I've chosen this show.
If you were falsely accused of stalking someone to an extreme degree, would you go on national television to redeem yourself? It feels a little attention-seeking to me and an opportunity to paint themselves as the victim.
Have you watched the drama?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious to?
No, I think I'd be sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online. People phoning me up. You know, it's been absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't give credence to something like that, and it's not really my kind of drama.
When did you know that you were the person being depicted in this? 5
years ago on BBC Breaking News, I saw Mr. Gadd had written a play for the Edinburgh Festival, and he was holding up placards, MP's wife stalker, and all of this, and he'd called it Baby Reindeer. That's all I knew. And I thought, well, I've only met this guy 2 or 3 times. I don't know him.
Oh, do you guys think that's true? I don't know. Somebody in chat said stalker vibes. I don't know how to explain it yet, and I'm sure we'll get more soon. But I am getting stalker vibes. Like, I don't believe anything she's saying.
And when did you know that Netflix were doing something?
2 weeks ago. I had just moved flat, so it was 2 weeks ago past Saturday.
And how did you hear?
I saw on BBC Breaking News that he'd sold to Netflix, and both he and this character, Martha, this Jessica actress, seemed to be promoting mercilessly.
The verbiage mercilessly is very interesting to me because it's as though the marketing of this was a direct attack on her. I don't know if that makes sense. It's an interesting word to use.
Did you think then it was you that they were depicting?
I thought it was me they were depicting 5 years ago because of this MP's wife stalker article that had been a number done on me by the Sunday Mail 25 years ago when I was going for Donald Joe's parliamentary seat. So I had a vague idea then.
Were you online at all? Because you were before, but are you these days online?
I've come off Facebook as of yesterday.
Are you on X, what used to be Twitter?
No, I'm not.
Because you had an
Twitter.
account.
Yeah, that's right.
You did?
Years ago.
He literally just caught her lying right there. She was trying to, so people found her Facebook account and they also found her Twitter account, and she like doesn't acknowledge it at all. She's like, I just got off of Facebook yesterday, and tries not to bring up Twitter, even though it was 100% her. And the way that the users found her Twitter account was they were looking for people that tweeted Richard Gadd in the early 2010s, the guy that was being stalked. And they found quite a few tweets from her to his account back at that time, and they were worded very strangely, just like Martha's character in Baby Reindeer. That's how they knew it was her.
That moment you realised it was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology.
Wait, I'm sorry. What the f*** is that?
It was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology. They'd done the maths and they worked out this was you that was being depicted. How did that make you feel?
Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I couldn't believe he'd done that. And so long after first meeting, we're talking 10, 12 years ago, really horrendous. I didn't know who to trust. I was told...
Okay, here's something interesting. She is just so blatantly painting herself as the victim here. I don't even need to break that down for you. You can hear it all throughout. But what's interesting is people like this that are perpetual victims when they were the aggressor the entire time, the way that they act behind closed doors is impossible to deal with, impossible to ration with. Everything's your fault. Everything is you. You've done everything wrong. Da 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 da. And what's interesting is she's acting like that, but trying to keep it really controlled. And she's on a massive platform right now. Her underbelly is showing, and she just still can't help but act like she's the victim and need to be in control of everything. And she just comes off as downright odd.
I want to play a little clip. This is just some of the reaction to Baby Reindeer from members of the public.
And they've found the real woman online.
So I assume in the actual thing, they've obviously given her a different name. It's a different woman, but you know what I find? They always manage to find a similar looking woman, and the build tends to be the same.
I have a theory about this, though. I feel like he's done it on purpose because he knew that people would find her and he wants to make her life hell a bit.
I'm shocked that that's the clip that they played and that was the note they chose to end on, because I don't think that the creator of Baby Reindeer did this to attack Martha or Fiona in this case. I think he did it because he was traumatized, and sometimes people express their trauma and they express it through art in some capacity, right? So, him making a play or him making a movie, that is his art, and he's expressing his trauma through art. I don't think he did it to terrorize her. And also people like this, they don't want the person that they're stalking, or in this case being toxic to or abusing, they don't want them to have any power. So the fact that he reclaimed his power in such a big way by putting her on blast, it's going to make her pissed.
The final guy on there, I think, is correct. I think he always wanted this to come out, to persecute someone, to take attention away from
a victim
him
count.
and this rape allegation. And I just generally think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch the...
Oh my God. The way that she leans in when she says, I think he has extreme psychiatric problems. That's the thing that these motherfuckers do when they're like, you've got issues. You've got problems. When they can't negotiate and victim themselves out of it anymore, now it's you. And look at the snarl and the body posture she puts on when she leans in on it. It's almost like she thinks she's talking directly to Richard.
I think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch the...
That's what the whole show is
given that
about,
he's
him
written
having
it about
problems.
himself. If you watch the whole thing as I did, all 5, 6 episodes, whatever it is, he has a lot of problems. He's quite open about that. The question, I guess, which we'll come to, is how much of the way he depicts you is true.
Yes.
And your position is that...
Answer that.
It's just not factual.
It's a work of fiction, it's a work of hyperbole, as I've always said, and there are two true facts.
It's so interesting. She says it's a work of fiction, or it's exaggerated, right? Well, which one is it? Did it happen and he's exaggerating, or is it complete fiction and it didn't happen at all?
The show shows you coming in to a London pub, you've just named the pub, and he's working behind the bar, Richard Gadd, and he offers you a cup of tea. Is that what happened?
No, that's not correct. He didn't offer me a cup of tea. Nobody gets anything free from the Holy Arms. I was in for a meal with a drink of lemonade, and I was very, very hungry. I'm diabetic, so very hungry. So that's.
And did you talk to him?
He interrupted a conversation. There was another barman there, and he said, "Oh, you're Scottish," and basically commandeered the conversation. I was talking to somebody. It's pretty rude to interrupt. So he seemed to be obsessed with me from that moment onwards.
I mean,
there it is, the projection. I wasn't obsessed with him. He was obsessed with me. Girl, I can't even. I think the other thing that rubs me wrong about this is like, I feel like all of us have met a person like this that was just completely off their rocker. And what's creepy about Fiona Harvey is she exhibits some of those traits of people I've met before that were completely off their rocker. And so when I see those traits in her, I'm like, red flag, red flag.
You do look and sound very similar to the actress in the drama.
I haven't seen the actress. We're both Scottish. We've both got dark hair. She's considerably younger than me. I think she's about 18 years younger than me.
That doesn't matter.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 58. I'm a year younger than you. And I think Jessica, the actress, is about 40, 38, 40.
Those details don't matter. Richard Gadd, the creator of the show, he even went on to say, and most people would do this, the character that they create is not going to be a carbon copy about who it's based on. And he even mentioned before people connected this to Fiona Harvey that he had changed some of the details to the point that she may not even recognize herself. He was trying to give the basis of the story and the reason of the story without, it didn't always need to be perfectly done to a T. So her nitpicking, well, the actress is 18 years younger than me, so this just isn't true. It's so fucking stupid. Like, do you think I'm so dumb that I'm gonna like be like, well, that just takes his whole case apart? Yeah, he was kind of protecting her in a way.
It says in the show that you proceeded to return to the same pub time and again, but you never paid for a drink.
I don't drink alcohol, and
probably
did you pay for anything? You had
lemonade or soft drinks.
Would he give you free drinks? Or?
No, absolutely not. This is sort of a depiction of me as a pauper who wouldn't stand around or stand a drink. It's nonsense.
It says that you told Richard Gadd that he looked like a baby reindeer toy you once had as a child, hence the name of the show.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I appear to have written most of the show in my sleep. I dressed.
Did you have a baby reindeer
I
toy?
had a toy reindeer.
So that's true.
And he'd shaved his head. That bit is true. And there were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas time or something. It was a joke. So I have inadvertently penned the name of the show.
Right. But that is true.
Wait.
There were reindeers in the shops. It was Christmas time or something. It was a joke.
It was a joke. I love when crazy abusive people get called out on something and suddenly it's a joke. It was just a little funny joke. Newsflash, buddy. A joke is a two-way street. I need to be in on the joke, okay? Otherwise, it's not a very good joke. If I'm not in on it, if I don't understand it, and this isn't a situation where something's just going over somebody's head, it's just not a fucking joke, man. Saying that something is a joke to someone is a very, very, very special type of, and you know what? You guys know I talk about this shit sometimes. I talk about manipulation a lot, but I don't use this word very often, but I'm going to use it. Saying something is a joke is a very, very, very interesting form of gaslighting because one, it's saying what I just said wasn't serious. It didn't matter. And two, it's saying you can't take a joke. You take everything so seriously? What are you being dramatic about? It was just a joke. So in that moment, the phrase, it's just a joke, one, minimizes their behavior entirely, and two, puts it back on you that something's wrong with you. I hate when people say something's a joke. If I'm not in on the fucking joke, then it wasn't a joke. People saying that so much triggers me so much. I still don't even know what my response is supposed to be when somebody says that it's a joke. I think a good response to that is just like, can you explain the joke to me? Because I feel like I'm not in on the joke. Can you explain it to me? I think I have said that before. Go with that.
Whilst bantering with you, Richard Gadd told you he'd like to hang your curtains. Is that true?
This, I think, was a Holy Arms joke about curtains and a lot of sexual innuendo.
He did say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that you caught Richard Gadd looking through your window after he...
Wow, dude, I love I love that she claims that she only went to this bar. That's what the Holy Arms is. She claims that she only went there 2 or 3 times. It wasn't a big deal, but we're to the point that we're having inside jokes about sexual innuendos. She shoots herself in the foot so much in this interview. Like, most people pick up on that like, that doesn't make sense. You guys had inside jokes.
Followed you home one day.
False.
You never saw him at your house?
I didn't see him at my house. I think it would be impossible to look through a window.
Did anyone else ever see him there? In the course of your relationship with Richard Gadd, you send him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true.
Personally, I believe that. I 100% believe that. The other thing is, too, this is textbook stalking. It's unwanted contact. It's repeated, it's obsessive, and unwanted contact. And the other thing is, if someone is in this situation and they're being stalked, like if Richard is being stalked by this woman, he doesn't have to explicitly say to her to stop contacting him, because sometimes people that are stalkers like this, they have some kind of ego, they have some kind of disconnect from reality, they have some sort of issue, and rejecting them to them is a form of aggression. He doesn't have to do anything or say anything, and her repeatedly sending these messages over and over, and what did they say, 350 voicemails and 40,000 emails. That is somebody that is obsessed with you, that doesn't respect your boundaries.
If somebody was sending somebody 41,000 emails or something, they'd be doing how many a day?
She looks like she ain't got nothing to do, for real.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What did you send him?
None of that's true. I don't think I sent him anything.
Oh,
You never sent him anything?
No. I think there may have been a couple of emails exchanging, but that was it.
Why?
Just jokey banter emails.
oh, another joke.
Netflix have said that these details are the real ones. That this is exactly
completely incorrect.
So you're denying sending anything to him?
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't numerous. It was about 18 tweets there or 14.
It's quite a lot to someone who's not that well known.
But we were all friends. It was banter.
Right, but it establishes you were contacted. That's in public. Did you write him letters?
Public, no. I think when I saw the rape interview, that's actually incorrect. What I said there, when I saw that in the Guardian, I said, "What a shame! It's not your fault." Something
you
like
did
that.
write to him.
One later. One later.
You would say you only sent him a handful of emails. Yeah. You never texted him.
No.
In the show, though, she never texted him either because she didn't have his number. She was sending him emails in the show.
Who has sent all these things?
Correct. So I'm sorry?
Who has sent all this stuff to him?
I've no idea. I think he's probably made it up himself.
I mean, you could prove, I guess, quite easily it wasn't you.
Correct.
Because it'd all be on your computer.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
Would you be happy for someone to look at that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you have? What technology?
Dude, that response is so interesting. Just the way she looks down.
What technology do you use?
Right, what technology do I use? A very, very old smartphone just now because the other one packed up a week before moving. That's it.
Because they're all sent from an iPhone.
Yes, so...
But they believe it wasn't actually an iPhone ever being used.
Meaning what
Meaning
kind
that
of
someone
phone?
was hiding the fact that they were actually not using it. They were pretending it was from an iPhone.
I don't really understand that.
Well, people can mask where they're sending stuff from.
Okay, right. I'm not Technology Whiz Kid of the Year. I wasn't doing that.
That response just sounded so fake. It sounded so fake. This is something that I've seen so commonly with people when they're lying. They have all of their lies prepared, all of their retorts ready for everything, a way to make them a victim of everything. But sometimes when you hit them with a certain question that they're not prepared for, they're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm trying to understand. Can you explain to me more? Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, no. I feel like I've seen that so many times before.
When you make such an emphatic denial of the central point of the story, you're basically accusing both him but also Netflix of lying about it.
I am.
And that's pretty defamatory.
It's not defamatory if it's true.
No, it's defamatory that they've been to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I misunderstood there. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yes,
exactly.
I am the victim.
I don't see how
Yes.
anyone could do 41,000.
Also,
email.
the shift there is really creepy. She goes, it's not defamatory if it's true. And then when she realized that she misinterpreted it and he was making a statement as though she was actually the victim, she said, oh, yes, it's very, very bad, very bad.
I don't know how much you know about technology, but are you aware that if it was you sending those emails, it would be very easy for the police, for example, to work out exactly where they come from? That the IP address would reveal that.
Yes, I understand that, and it stays on forever. But the point is, this was years and years ago. We were congratulating him.
But it would all still be there.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
And if you sent 41,000 emails,
This is just a lot of rubbish. Yeah, so that should be stored there.
well, they'd all be there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got them.
He's not got 41,000 emails.
That's so specific. He's not got 41,000 emails. I also like how she says, yeah, they should be stored. She's planning to delete that shit as we speak.
How many do you think you sent him?
A handful.
Like,
that.
what does that mean? How many?
What does that mean?
Less than 10.
10 emails.
Not 41,000.
Right, there's a massive disparity between the two things.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if it's not you that sent all this, then clearly Martha cannot be you.
Alexa said, do you think that he lied at all? Do you mean Richard Gadd? I think that 70% of his story was true. I think that some details about Martha were twisted. Personally, I do think it's entirely based on this woman. This entirely reminds me of people that I've dealt with before that have these traits. I think 70% of what he put together about Martha was true, but he changed it for, somebody even said, like, for the sake of probably defending her and shielding her identity a little bit. You don't want it to be too close to, it doesn't have to be too close to the actual truth of everything. It's about the message out. If you've seen the show before, there's a deeper message behind why he talked about Martha and what happened in his world and his brain. And I think that's really what the story is about. But yeah, I do think some details about her are a little bit different.
If you sue, for example, then this will go to a court of law. And then on discovery, people will look into all this. The phone company will be asked about evidence of all the text messages. The internet providers will provide all the backup for the emails. Facebook will be asked about the Facebook messages, and so on. So all of this would come out in a court case.
In disclosure, yes.
And you're prepared to do that.
Yes.
Somebody else said too, a lot of things are sensationalized for television. I do think it was a little sensationalized. I do think it was probably a little bit changed. But overall, I personally believe about 70% of Martha's character is true. You can decide if you think it's 50%, 70%, 80%, but it's like, what percent are you okay with? And I'm super okay with 70% of her character being true. But the big thing is that she's saying is none of it is true. And you have to decide if you believe that.
Because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea.
The protection
41,000
again.
emails.
Yeah.
What was that?
I mean, would
I
you
don't know.
would you accept that someone who did
What was
that
that
would
Ethan
be
Slater moment?
very obsessive about someone?
Yes. I mean, that's a lot of emails. And why now? Why didn't he go to the police at the time? Or
The
this sort of doesn't
victim
make sense.
blaming.
I mean, the fact that Netflix have said
The distancing herself from her own behavior. Yes, that's a lot of emails. And then well, why didn't he go to the police?
the real life Martha, person they based this on, who Richard Gadd has written about, is the person that sent these. And he has the evidence to prove it. What you're saying is that proves you cannot be Martha.
Yes, and I would like to see Netflix's evidence for that.
No. Another thing is, abusive people always want to know what you know. They're like, give it to me. You don't give it to them because otherwise they're going to try to negotiate their victimhood. They want to know what you have and they plan to argue against it. So no, nobody's giving Martha shit. If you want the emails, baby, go look at yourself. Go look at your sent inbox from 2010.
It goes on to say that you heckle Richard Gadd when he was appearing in his stand-up shows. Did you ever do that?
No.
Never?
No, it's not.
Did you ever attend his stand-up?
I think I went to one. It was a long, long time ago.
And you never shouted out or anything?
Why would I do that? No.
See, how the fuck did we go from we met 2 or 3 times at the bar he worked at to we had inside sexual jokes. I've sent a handful of emails. Oh, yeah, and I went to one of his shows.
No, I don't generally go to comedy shows. But
you
You
never
made this
heckled
exception
him?
for him?
no.
Did you ever attack Richard Gadd's girlfriend because you were jealous?
No, I don't think he had a girlfriend. I think he's homosexual, but no.
Fiona! Oh my God, dude. Fiona, did you ever attack his girlfriend? No, I think he's a homosexual. What the fuck?
There are lots of scenes where Martha is sitting outside his house all day for many days, sitting in a bus stop, sitting out there, walking around, and would occasionally shout at him. Did you ever do that?
No, I haven't seen the show, but I'm getting.
I have, so I'm telling you.
Yes, I got all the court allegations, the trial allegations.
Her harping on the fact that she never went to court and there was no trial or anything, I think that might have been a sensationalist way to just end the show, right? To make it feel like there's a sense of justice at the end. Netflix could have even pushed for that. But it makes sense that she never went to court because the whole show is about how Richard Gadd didn't stand up for himself or have boundaries because he didn't know how to have boundaries because of things that had happened in his life. That was the whole point of it. So no, I don't think he reported her. I don't think she went to court. But I don't think that fucking matters. Like, she did what she did.
Did you ever contact Richard Gadd's parents and threaten them?
No, that allegation was put to me by journalists. No.
Never happened.
No.
There's one key.
She was about to say something and then she didn't say it afterwards. I also don't believe that because when these people can't get attention from you, they will generally go to people outside of your circle and either try to manipulate those people or they will attack those people to try to get to you.
There's one key point in the drama that has Martha's character pleading guilty to intimidating Richard Gadd in court and sentenced to 9 months prison time. Let's watch.
You are charged with the stalking of Mr. Donald Dunn between the dates of the 14th of August 2015 and the 22nd
Bro, they really nailed her, honestly. They really did. It do look like her.
Are you guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Now, again, there is obviously a resemblance between...
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
That's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not flatter you. I just think there is a resemblance, you know, having met you, and you both speak Scottish people.
Yeah.
But the fundamental point of this is, did you take part in that? So did you go to jail? Did you have a trial?
Of course not. Of course not.
Have you ever been to prison?
No.
Have you ever been charged with
I
anything?
mean, I believe that, but I don't...
Never?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Nothing.
If they basically have a key point in their drama, which they say is a true story, which involves you admitting to intimidating Richard Gadd and getting a 9-month prison sentence, and that is completely untrue.
That's completely untrue. Very, very defamatory to me. Very career.
My question, though, is it defamatory if she had just shut the fuck up? Like... Her real name wasn't out there. She's the one that went on the show. Like, is it defamatory? And also that she went to,
You're damaging. I wanted to rebut that completely on this show. I'm not a stalker. I've not been to jail.
Yeah, what's the goal?
I've not got injunctions, interdicts. This is just complete nonsense. But it's, I mean, you'll know yourself, if you're charged with a criminal offence, it will go fine. Bigger fine, whatever. Very few people go to jail.
Well, you'd have a police record.
Nowadays.
Yeah. Have you ever changed your name?
My surname was double-barrelled.
What was it?
Muir Harvey. So Muir Harvey when
M-U-I-R.
Yes.
Harvey.
When I got when the parents got divorced, I changed it to Harvey.
I wonder, chat, do you guys think he's just building rapport with her right now because he's about to do a bigger push? Okay, they're about to go into her relationship with Gadd. That's what I feel like is happening.
Did Richard Gadd tell you what he was doing?
No, I had worked it out when I saw the festival Baby Reindeer advert on BBC.
The Edinburgh Festival, which is the show you did.
I just happened to see that. I was looking up the news for something else.
I just happened to see that. You were stalking. You were stalking. You were lurking, Fiona. She was
and
lurking.
I think Martha there
she
was a bar
looking.
stool. I seem to recall
She wanted to
reading
know
that.
what her man was doing.
It wasn't an actress or a person. It was a bar stool.
Let me just show a little clip. This is from Lorraine, actually, who you just compared yourself to. But let's take a look at this.
Well, other people do.
This is Richard Gadd on Lorraine.
The human condition is extremely complicated, and I felt like a lot of the art and TV in this day and age had maybe simplified it too much.
It's not a villain and victim storyline. I think you're left with a lot more than that. It's kind of two lost people.
What's your response to that?
Dude, that was so aggressive. The sucking of the teeth. Oh my God, that was so aggressive.
I think they're milking it for all it's worth for the money.
Oh.
She doesn't even sound Scottish in that interview. Her accent seems to be varying.
Shut the f- up about the Scottish accent. I think it's really interesting that she says they're milking it. This also feels like a super abusive tactic. Also, once again, if you haven't seen the show, the behavior that she exhibited towards him the whole time, it was abusive. It was toxic. And they don't stop, right? Abusive people just don't wake up and stop abusing you. The only thing you have to do is get them out of your life, right? So her saying, they're milking it. I wasn't that bad. He just takes things too seriously. It was a joke. Why is he making this such a big deal? While meanwhile, this person's doing the worst fucking thing ever to you. Oh my God. What a...
Well, she's not. She's English. She's an actress.
I was going to say, it sounds more Lancashire to me. Yeah.
No, she's English.
Which
she's an actress. She's putting on the voice for you.
They're milking it for all they're worth. It was the right time to abuse someone all over social media and all over, basically somebody who's not from Loveyland, not from Theatreland, just abused me all over the newspapers. If they're happy with themselves.
What do you feel about Richard Gadd?
I think he's psychotic.
The level of projection in this is absolutely insane. He's psychotic. He's obsessed with me. He's abusing me. And that's all they have, is to like turn it on you until you get confused. And they'll just oh my God. Look, he did exactly what he should have done. Made a movie about this chick and blasted her into outer space.
Along being in that play and doing this to somebody.
Wait, Hewley said, do you think she's outing herself to get close to Richard again, to like get his attention again? She's doing this interview to abuse him again. Honestly, I'm a little shocked that they gave her this platform to begin with, but thank God she's not a good actor, and it just didn't work out for him. But if she had successfully played victim in all of this, it would have just been another form of public abuse towards her, because that's what she is. She's a toxic person.
He says the whole thing started because he felt sorry for you, and that's why he befriended you.
Your staff said that to me in the waiting room. This is a lot of nonsense. I've got lots of friends.
What did you talk to him about?
It was just a Holly Arms banter. It was...
like what? What kind of thing?
What you're going to do with your life, or, career stuff, sort of... And I thought he was a stand-up show.
But is it possible he was under the impression that he felt sorry for you?
No, I never got that impression at all. I got the impression that he was all out for himself, wanted to sort of control that bar, very, very inarticulate, very full of himself. I should never have gone in that bar.
Do you wish you never had?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wow. The stalker has regrets. That's interesting, because toxic people never regret anything because they've convinced themselves that they haven't done anything wrong. So her actually having regret over that means she's feeling some kind of pain that she wishes she wasn't experiencing, and she wishes she could take it all back.
How long did you know him for, Richard Gadd?
2-3 months. 2-3 months at maximum. He only worked there on certain days.
And did you always go on the days he worked there?
No, I've been in there on different days having food.
Have other people from the pub contacted you?
Nobody's contacted me.
No one at all?
About this at all, apart from the media. The mainstream media.
Yeah, because nobody wants to talk to you, Scary.
Social media.
He says, Richard Gadd, he didn't see you as a villain, but as somebody who is unwell and needs help.
Yeah, well, he maybe should look a bit closer to home, to himself, as someone who needs help.
What, you think he's mentally unwell?
Yes, I think he always was. Whether there was an alleged rape or whether that rape was real or conceived in his mind, I think that would make him...
That part just made me so sad. That just made me so, like... That was really fucked up. I can't believe that. Like, you're willing to throw this person under the bus so hard that you're going to deny an extremely traumatic situation that he detailed in an entire episode. And I can't even...
I mean, that's a rape that he says happened. It was a television person. We don't know who it was. Somebody was falsely linked with it, who turns out to have nothing to do with it. But it's a very graphic scene in the drama where he is brutally raped after a lot of drugs are taken. And he's kind of he appears to be in the drama very self-reflective about himself. That he's no angel, he's not perfect, he's made lots of mistakes, and he didn't treat you in his eyes as a villain, like he said.
Oh God, even that posture afterwards, that I'm looking down on you. I mean, that just says so much, that cockiness. I'm not backing down from this. It's really, dude, this lady's a piece of shit. Whether you believe how much of the Martha character was real, whether you believe, oh, that was never her, whether you believe, oh, did she send 41,000 emails? You literally just saw her deny that the man was raped. She just straight up said maybe he made it up in his head and then sat back in her chair like this. This is also another form of abusing somebody psychologically. Something terrible happens to them and they are told that it's their fault or they made it up, and then somebody sits back in their chair and looks down on you. What is that? That's more than just toxic to me. That's being mentally and psychologically abusive to somebody. Psychological abuse is an incredibly painful thing because it feels like 1,000 paper cuts, and everyone tells you to get over it because it's just a paper cut. But when you are cut over and over and over and over again with these small cuts and they just keep coming, it is pure torture. And that's exactly what she was doing to him. And if you're somebody that had somebody like this in your life, like a parent or something before that, and then your lack of boundaries allows these pieces of shit in, it's very hard to recognize what they're doing to you because you, A, feel like you deserve it, and B, there's a sense of comfort in somebody abusing you because you've been abused your entire life. This woman is a textbook piece of shit, an abusive human being.
He seems to have written a couple of other shows about this alleged rape, then this one. And
wait, okay, we never like talk about like exact like psych words or things like that, but somebody in chat, Soul, thanks for being here, but I just have to call this one out. Somebody said, I'm guessing she has some kind of NPD or BPD. BPD being it's not bipolar. Generally, that's borderline personality disorder. This chick does not have any BPD because BPD people feel extreme remorse after they do something, like on an insane level. A lot of times they get triggered and they can't control a lot of things, and it can get very serious. It can be very intense. Dealing with those kind of BPD attacks on the other end can be really upsetting. It can be very stressful, but generally afterwards, a lot of people that have BPD are huge softies and they take so much accountability afterwards. This bitch is not taking an ounce of accountability. Leave them alone. That is not her. This lady is crazy.
Then this one.
Yeah, I'm like, and, don't put them on this one. No.
We've had no apologies from Netflix or him or nothing. I mean, for someone who says he feels sorry for me, I've had no apology, and I have this Martha character seems to have smashed up a bar. Sexually assaulted him in a canal, been to prison.
I thought you didn't watch the show. What did somebody give you show notes on the call? Did somebody's daughter give you show notes afterwards on the call? Girl.
A number of other allegations.
And none of that is true.
That's not true.
He says that people shouldn't try to find out the identity of the real people in the drama. Do you give him credit for that?
No.
He actually tweeted this. People
No.
I love, have worked with and admire, including Sean Foley, who was the man wrongly accused of being the rapist.
Piers, I'm sorry.
I don't know what she's about to say, but I just have to say, I am still not over the fact that it takes a lot of courage to detail how somebody not only took advantage of you, but also sexually assaulted you. He put a lot of heart into his experience to help him heal from the trauma. And because she can't handle being a stalker and her own fucking actions, she actually sat here on national television and tried to say that his rape was not real. That moment for me, I literally cannot get that out of my head. That is so incredibly unbelievable, and it showed exactly who she was.
Piers, I'm sorry, I can't see the date of that tweet. I can't actually see any of it.
That was literally like a few days after it was released.
Right.
So.
I saw the headline. It was all over BBC Breaking News 2 weekends ago for 4 days.
Wow.
And
also, something else I have to mention too. Sorry, I cannot get over that detail. Her saying that is such a big deal because a lot of times people that have been assaulted, especially if you've watched Baby Reindeer and you see, you know, the details like of the story and where his brain was at the time, people don't always get to a place completely 100% and resolutely of, I didn't make that up, that actually happened to me and I didn't deserve it. Some people never get there. They can get 50% of the way and say, you know what, I really didn't deserve that, and have some of those types of feelings. So when somebody comes in and knocks down all of your progress, it's hard. Like, you're not always strong enough to sit there and say like, no, she's wrong for saying that. Her saying that is gonna get into his head. And I fucking hate that so much. To us, it's so ridiculous. Like she's such a piece of shit for saying that. But for the person that it happened to, somebody like her saying that, it gets in your head. Ah, that makes me so upset.
Weekends ago, I saw the headline. It was all over BBC Breaking News 2 weekends ago for 4 days. With Martha promoting herself, the character Martha, Jessica, promoting herself, and him saying, don't speculate. Wow, that's a bit rich now, isn't it? The fans do speculate.
Well, it was almost instantaneous. You were tracked down incredibly quickly.
The Wednesday, the Daily Mail got in touch with me, so that was all over BBC Breaking News Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
I mean, the reason that internet sleuths were able to find out it was you was they found the tweets that you sent him throughout 2014. 10th of May, for example, 2014. Yeah. Richard Gadd, did you get my recorded delivery letter sent to the theatre, sent to arrive Bank Holiday Monday? So you sent him a letter then?
That was that. Sorry, you were raped, something like that.
12th of June, same year.
Wait, and then so she. Hold on. So she reached out to him. She broke the no contact when he came out about his assault to say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And it didn't work. He didn't respond. So then later, because it didn't work, she suddenly switches to, well, I don't even know if that happened. So when she reached out, she wasn't sorry. It was an opportunity. It was a moment where she thought that he was weak and she could weasel her way back in because she hasn't done any work on herself. She was going to come back into his life and be the same piece of shit that she was before. When you realize how terrible somebody is, it doesn't matter how much time that they've had, unless they have worked on themselves and made significant changes, they will come back into your life and be the same piece of shit. I had a very, very good friend of mine that we went no contact for a couple of years. We reconnected at one point. We had a phone call. And I didn't know how it was going to go because maybe 3 or 4 years had passed. But while we were on the phone, she ended up telling me that she had gotten sober. And she was 2.5 years sober. And so I was like, oh shit, that's a significant change in somebody that I can get behind. Something must have happened for you to A, cut out your most toxic behavior, B, get into action and keep that up for 2.5 years. That shows me that you've changed. A lot of times, people will try to weasel their way back into your life without making any significant change. Do not let them. Shut the fucking door, okay?
12th of June, same year, your tweets cheer me up. Your timeline is good. 23rd of September, my curtains need hung badly.
We were trying to encourage
him
because with this first show or something like that.
You
a long time ago.
Yes, on the 18th of December, please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and neurotic.
Yeah.
The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass.
It was a joke.
Oh.
It was a joke.
It's the fifth joke we've had.
Nothing negative, though, about it there.
No, because I didn't think he was a complete psychopath who was going to attack me in this way.
But the show did involve you.
This show here, not that show there.
It made no reference
to... This was a previous show.
It made no reference to you, that show.
Which
the one you're talking about.
Yes. So, it's funny this is coming up now. My view is it's all about the money. The Martha Barstow Edinburgh Festival thing wasn't making any money. He'd failed as a comedian. He'd failed as an actor.
He failed as a comedian. He failed as an actor. God, she is such a fucking hater. You know what else is interesting too? These people, they'll flip between loving you and hating you depending on where it's beneficial for them, right? Because if Richard, I can almost guarantee you, her hate is not real. It's conditional. Her love is conditional and her hatred is conditional. And this is a person that is just not secure within themselves. Very, very dangerous. If Richard were to come back into her life for any capacity and reach out, she would suddenly, oh, let's forget about it all, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you're a psychopath and I'm sorry that you were assaulted. She would just completely switch over because it's convenient, because now she wants his attention again because she wants some control. She is so fucking unstable. It is unreal, bro. Unreal.
Let's make some money, sell this to Netflix.
She's a hater.
I think anyone in their right mind. You had a group of guys on there in their 20s. They don't believe it.
Can I ask you, what was your upbringing like?
I was going to say standard Scottish, singing standard Scottish countryside.
Happy? Happy upbringing?
Impoverished. But
I was about to say, this is an opportunity for her to play victim. Let's see what she says.
Middle class upbringing, if you like.
Any siblings?
I have a sister. My mother worked incredibly hard. My parents got divorced when I was 9, but she worked like a Trojan.
Are either parents still alive?
My mother is, yeah.
And how does she feel about this?
I've not talked to her about it. I'm hoping she'll have just seen the Scottish headlines and that's it. She's not an internet freak or anything like that.
But she has no idea what's happened to you then?
She will know bits, and she was very, very angry with Laura Walker for doing the original article.
I think this is an interesting question. Captain Upbeat said, do we know if the camping out at the bus stop was real or dramatized? Personally, I think that it could have been dramatized, but I think it might have been symbolic of the way that he was feeling, because he was scared of Fiona Harvey and he felt her presence everywhere. I think that some things could have definitely been symbolic, or maybe it could have happened, but the idea, this was all pulled from things that were very real. And oh my God, at first I was shocked that they even let her come on this show, but my God, is this lady shooting herself in the foot. Another thing, Shadow Gamer said, my thing is, how did she come out and say she never did prison time? Is that not public record? Stalkers, a lot of time, for some reason, people that are being stalked are not protected by the law, and it is almost impossible to get these motherfuckers put in jail. The United States laws are really bad. I'm sure the UK laws, it's just not something that they take as seriously. Basically, if you're being stalked, the police will go to you and say, well, have they hurt you? Have they attacked you? Have they made threats on your life? Well, we can't really do anything. And then once you prove that they have made threats on your life, they might get a slap on the wrist, or they might get a talking to, because the police think that there's better usage of their time. And oh my God, don't even think about trying to get one of these people committed. You basically just kind of have to deal with it. Yeah, so I don't doubt that she didn't spend very much. I don't doubt that she didn't spend any prison time. I wonder if she was ever picked up by police and spoken to. And then also sometimes people can just be let go with, oh, you need to take a class and you're on a little bit of probation.
People are being really sympathetic. People I don't know are saying things like, are you getting hounded in the street? People are being really, really nice. Anyone who does know about this.
Here's the thing, I don't know the truth. You do. And you've been emphatic in the number of denials you're making here.
That's right.
But many of those things that I've put to you can be proven.
You're talking about emails and an email trail thing.
All that.
All of that. You're obsessed with... sorry, I don't mean to be horrible.
I'm not obsessed with anything.
You've gone on at length for a good 10 minutes about the emails.
Well, only because the emails...
Okay, that emotional response, if she didn't do it, she wouldn't have had such an emotional response to the emails throughout this entire interview, and now she's getting angry. It's probably because she's embarrassed by what she did and how crazy that makes her look. But in the moment when she's having that obsessive thought about Richard and she sends the email to make herself feel a little bit better, she was just going and going and going and going and going, and there were no consequences. When you meet a person that doesn't have boundaries, there's no consequences. You can just keep going over and over and over and over again, and they're not going to do do anything. And so abusive people love boundaryless people. They're like, come on here. Let me get a bite of that. Help me.
Well, only because the emails...
Because of a vast number.
Well, there's a huge number and voice messages. The voice messages he's kept apparently, and there
He
is
was maybe taping me in the holy arms. I don't know if he's got any voicemail.
But if he has 350 voice messages and it's you,
it doesn't mean the drama is true.
but is it possible he's got 350 voice messages?
I doubt that very much.
I doubt.
I just don't think so.
You doubt it?
That's
I doubt it. I mean, unless
Wouldn't
he's
you
been
be
taping me.
I mean, if you've never really contacted him, if he's
He
got
could have been taping me in the holy arms, though.
But if he's got 350
I've not contacted
but if these
him.
are on his phone.
It's so interesting that she says he could have been taping me. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Is that a projection?
Whether they're on a phone, tablet, whatever they're on, I've not contacted
But I'm curious,
him.
why would there even be a possibility of him having that number of voice messages from you?
Because he's crazy. He wants to make this up. I mean, I've not phoned the guy. I don't have his number.
Yeah, but you're not sure that he hasn't got those?
I think the only explanation for having a voicemail from me would be taping me in the holy arms. That's the only place we've
Or
ever
that you've
met.
left messages on his phone?
That's the other explanation, which just didn't happen.
You can't be sure.
I can't be sure because I didn't have his number.
Right, but you just said you weren't sure if these were your voice messages.
Yeah, what I mean is somebody could be taping me. You know, somebody could have taped me in the holy arms on a dictaphone or something.
But if here's my point to you, is
Yeah.
that these are easily provable things.
Yeah.
He's either got them or he hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll be asking for disclosure of that. But
And the emails, obviously, there'll be an IP address, and that if that leads to you.
Yeah. I mean, my point is, though, even if that were
Another
true,
thing that's interesting is like Richard Gadd and Netflix not wanting to release the voicemails or the emails to just prove she's a liar is actually a boundary that they have set. Like, we're not going to engage in this. I don't need to prove your abuse to you. And then she's coming in and she was like, well, show me those things. Show me those things. One, she wants those things so that she can negotiate them. And two, it's another form of boundary pushing. Somebody says, I don't want to share like X, Y, and Z with you. I'm not sending you those emails. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll send them. One, it's a test because they know that you've put a boundary down and they think maybe you won't do it and maybe it'll make you look bad. But then two, it's also her still trying to push a boundary. What did I say in the beginning? Stalkers are obsessive boundary pushers. That's all they are.
I mean, my point is, though, even if that were true, I didn't lunge at him across the bar. I didn't sexually assault him in a canal. I didn't go to jail.
I understand.
So,
but here's my point to you.
yeah.
Here's my point to you, Fiona. And I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm not trying to trap you. I'm genuinely fascinated by this story. I watched the drama. I saw them declare it at the start as a true story. And I've seen the interviews since with all their...
Dude, you know, if you watch the actual TV show, he was so fucking stoked to do this interview. Like, I bet you this guy never wants to show up to work. But like when he found out they got Fiona Harvey on right after he watched the show, he was so stoked to come to work that day.
Unless I'm mishearing you, I think what you're saying is there is a possibility that you send a lot of emails and there's a lot of voice messages.
I didn't say
but
that.
But it doesn't mean that you did the more serious things.
Yeah, I am not saying at all that I sent loads of emails. You maybe misheard, play back the interview. What I'm saying is a handful at most. If I did, congratulations about the show.
But if he does have 350 voice messages...
I know that he doesn't.
And it's your voice.
He doesn't.
And everyone can now hear your voice.
Unless he was taping me in the holy arms.
Or he just kept them on his phone.
I didn't phone him.
A little projection.
You sound unconvinced, but
No, I'm not.
phone him.
Honestly,
I mean, what?
No. So is your point that are you challenging him to reveal this evidence?
No, I would challenge him to leave me alone.
Because you're calling him a liar.
That's another kind of manipulative thing they'll do. She knows that he's not going to do that. So she's like, well, why doesn't he just do it? Why doesn't he just do it? Why doesn't he do it? And the thing is, if he does do it, she's going to talk her way out of it because now she has the information that she needs to negotiate her way out of it.
I said this, the
she's
story
like, give me the emails.
the play, the Netflix show is not true.
No, but if they say that you sent 41,000 emails,
well, they are
voice
completely
messages,
wrong.
all 744
They're
tweets.
completely wrong.
So they are lying.
They are lying. Yes, okay.
Like, dude, this is the type of chick where if Netflix sent her 100 or 200 emails, she'd be, and like, that's clearly more than a handful, and they were insane emails, she'd be like, where's the other 40,800? Where are they? Liars, where are they? Then they send her 1,000 emails. She's like, well, where's the other 39,000 emails? You guys lied. You like completely ignoring that she lied about the handful of emails and now there's 1,000. Like the goalpost just keeps moving. It keeps moving, bro.
He is lying and they are lying. And in order for a dramatization to be true, it's got to be, the only defenses are veritas, I'm telling the truth, or the whole drama needs to be true. They have billed it as a true story, so has he, and it's not. It's blatantly not. Even if the email thing was true, the rest is not. So
why would you call
I love how she's trying to say, 80% or 90% of this is all fake. I do not believe that at all. I believe like 70% of this entire story that is in Baby Reindeer is true. But the other thing is we're completely glazing over the fact that every word out of her mouth right now is a lie or minimization. You cannot trust a single thing that this woman is saying. And she's sitting here harping over some of the details are incorrect. Everything in the based on a true story needs to be entirely accurate. No, honey, it says based on a true story, but every fucking word out of your mouth is a lie. So what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Rules for thee and not for me? Girl.
Qualify that, Fiona.
Sorry, why would I what?
Why would you suddenly qualify even if it's true about the emails?
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
When you say even if the emails were true,
I didn't send him 41.
It doesn't mean the more serious stuff is.
Let me rephrase that.
Oh my God,
That's
she's
really what
a
you're
character.
saying, right? I mean, I don't want to force you into saying anything that's not actually true, but it seems to me that it may be possible that you have communicated all this stuff with him, but that doesn't mean you did the more serious things.
That's true.
It doesn't mean you attacked his girlfriend. It doesn't mean
Another thing that these people will do, they'll admit to the small things and then not admit to the bad things. That is what these people do quite commonly, but in this scenario, I don't know how much that applies here because I do think some things in the show may have been sensationalized for the sake of television, but damn, that was a good show.
Up a bar. Yeah. It doesn't mean you did any of those things or threatened anybody. It just, yes, you had a relationship with this guy and you did contact him a lot.
I knew this guy. I didn't contact him a lot. I've never said that in this interview at all.
No. But but interestingly, for me, as an interviewer, I'm just trying to get to the truth. You understand?
No.
I honestly
I'm
not trying to
see that. It's your show.
I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm just trying to get to the truth.
I see that.
He has put his version out there, and the world has watched it.
Absolutely.
Millions and millions of people around the world have had Richard Gadd's version.
I know.
And I'm simply saying to you that you have a chance here, Fiona. I think, and take this any way you want, but you have a chance here to concede that some of these things might be possible. Yeah. But that doesn't mean the more serious things happen.
I mean, what I'm saying is...
Because the more serious stuff we know is serious, right? If Richard Gadd is watching this, what's your message to him?
Leave me alone, please. Get along.
Shut up. Howard, if you want him to leave you alone... I mean, the show would have come out, and then you would have just... You didn't have to do this. You went on national television yourself, tried to abuse the man in a different way, and then played victim. The public victimhood is absolutely astounding. It's like another form of manipulation to another level. Like, just fucking move on, bro. Move on. She said, leave me alone. Oh my God.
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've...
proper job? He's an actor that just directed a massive TV show that was #1, not just in the US. When I was in Europe a few weeks ago, it was #1 in Europe. The man has a job. Her saying get a proper job is insane. Insane. Does she have a job? Like,
get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done.
Dude, that kind of shit right there. Get a job, leave me alone. I'm horrified. I am upset and unsettled with everything you've done. That works on people that have like parental issues that fucking haven't worked through them, and people that are manipulative and abusive, they know that. They will look down on you and say, this is just disgusting. And if you end up going back to your child brain where you were abused, it fucking works, man. It works. And she's still using those old abusive tactics. And that's why people like her attach to people like Richard, because she gets addicted to the emotional response that he gives her. People are not just, they're not just like obsessed with you because, I don't know, you guys both like toy boats or something. They're obsessed because of how you make them feel. And that's what she wanted from him. She felt power over him because he was a man that was abused. And she took advantage of that, and it made her feel good. And she's still using her old tactics. What a little stinky, this is Miss Poopy. This is her right here.
And you will categorically be taking legal action.
Absolutely, against both him and Netflix.
You said your boyfriend's a lawyer, so this can be done.
He's not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. Somebody else is.
But have you instructed lawyers?
We've instructed them in part, but we want to explore all the options out there. There are a number of people to sue. We can't all be in 10 courts all at once. So
who else are you planning to sue?
The Daily Mail.
Good luck
Anyone
with that.
that's saying this is true and harassing me and that kind of thing.
Good luck with suing
we
the
have
Daily
not
Mail.
had time to do.
The Daily Mail has been, they've been posting bullshit for years, okay? I don't think you're going to get the Daily Mail.
Anyone that's saying this is true and harassing me and that kind of thing. We have not had time to do everything.
If the investigation, if you sue and there's discovery, and it turns out that 41,000 emails did come from a device belonging to you, how would you feel about that?
I wouldn't be suing if I thought there were 41,000 emails out there.
She's so specific with that number because she's ready to contest that number. I think she's also very embarrassed by that.
And that if they did exist and you're categoric that they didn't, it would obviously
It wouldn't
impact
blow the
on
whole
you.
case. It wouldn't blow the case against Netflix and it wouldn't blow the case against him.
No, you
because
might
he's
well have
making out it's a true story.
No.
If you see what I mean, I'm back
No.
to my original position.
I understand, and I understand that it's obviously put your life into a very difficult position.
It's very
And their central claim that they made all this effort not to lead to you being identified, I don't think stands water.
I don't think it stands water.
To me, it's pretty. I could have listen. I've been a journalist 40 years. I could have discovered it was you in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Once I'd watched.
Yes, I agree. I discovered it was me.
Dude, Piers Morgan outing himself as like that girl you know that can find anybody online is actually so fucking funny. Like, that's basically what he just said.
When
Famous
did you last have any
words.
contact with him?
Years ago.
Do you remember when?
Years ago, no. I left the Holy Arms, didn't go back, and he was calling me a stalker and things. And there were various things happening in the Holy Arms. You know, other women were warning me about them and everything.
Dude, she acts like this is a club she was going to, like, on a regular basis, but I thought she only went there 2 or 3 times. Girl, she unravels herself throughout this entire interview. Is anybody buying her shit? Sorry, I phrased that. Actually, f that. Don't answer that.
In relation to the 106 letters that he and Netflix say you sent, well, here's my point. You've admitted sending him one, and that presumably was a handwritten letter.
Could it be, are you thinking I was maybe mistaken, that I maybe did? And I've
No. I'm
forgotten?
just saying, if we accept that the one that you admit to sending is in your own handwriting, he has another 105 letters in your
Yes, it's
handwriting.
nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
but
nonsense.
Are you prepared for him to show that one?
He's
and the
maybe
others?
forged things. I mean, people forge a lot of things
You think
nowadays.
he could successfully write 105 letters to himself?
Well, I certainly didn't.
No, but you admit to sending one. My point is, if it turns out the other 105 are exactly the same handwriting, wouldn't that point
Yeah, I
to
mean,
maybe...
we'd obviously bring in handwriting experts. I didn't do it.
When somebody's in Delulu land like this, just don't argue with them. Don't, because you think that you're arguing some type of logic or reason or explanation, but really what you're doing is they're somewhere over here in Delulu. You think you guys are eye level here. They're actually somewhere over here in Delulu land. And really what you're trying to do is pull their feet down to actually be in the same realm as you. And then once it takes so much energy to pull them down into reality. And then after that, then you need to have the conversation with them. But the whole time that you're trying to pull them down out of Delulu land, they are, no, you're not going to take me. Like, that's literally what they're doing the whole time. So if you ever feel exhausted in arguments like this, it's because they are in Delulu land and they are holding on for dear life. And you're actually trying to bring them back down. You're not having that eye level conversation with them yet. And that's all she's doing. And what do you do with this type of shit? You disengage. You just, like, you deserve peace in your life, okay? You don't need chaos. You need peace, right? That's all you need. Is there a safe level of Delulu? I do not hate Delulu bed when you are in your bed, in your room, and you're, I don't know, sitting on your phone being a little fucking weirdo, okay? But when you start to involve other people in Delulu land that are non-consenting, or when you're in a conversation and you go off in Delulu land and somebody's trying to talk to you in present reality, no. But yeah, no, go to Delulu land. If you need to, I don't know, dream about some character that you saw in a fucking book to help you go to sleep, I don't give a shit. Yeah, go for that. But we're not involving other people. And then also, what is she trying to do here? She's trying to bring everybody in mass into Delulu land. That's what she's trying to do, which is just fucked up. Like, move on.
Do you still email people?
What do you mean?
Do you send emails?
Yeah.
Do you have the same email address you've always had?
I had 6 at one point.
Why?
Because I like to keep people on different phones and different emails.
Six different emails?
Maybe 4. I think it's 4 to 6, yeah. It's easier.
No. That's a red flag. Because some of y'all even know too, once you get to the 4th or 5th email, you're doing some sus shit. That's also why some of y'all are calling it outside too. No.
Or was it 4 or 6?
I can't remember. Probably 6.
How many do you use today?
I had 4 phones. I've got 1 today, but I only email select friends.
And you have 4 phones?
Yeah, 2 broke. They were very, very old. 1 was brand new and broke, and it's still to be returned to the shop.
Nope.
I like keeping people on separate phones as well. And maybe that makes me a maniac or a stalker or something, but if you've got somebody else...
Dude, I almost feel like her laughing there was her realizing that she just admitted to something that was abnormal. I like how he just stone faces her when she says crazy shit, because I think it probably makes her really insecure. I wouldn't be able to do that. I have an emotional reaction to everything.
Fiona, do you think if somebody did send someone 41,000 emails, 350
I think that's
voice messages,
excessive, obviously, yeah.
would that mean someone's stalking someone?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it could be it could be your wife. It could be you're maybe sending emails every day about the kids or something like that. I don't know. 41,000 is a lot. That's how many a day? My maths isn't working this time of night. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean they're stalking somebody. They could be great friends. They could have been friends for 50 years or something.
Was he ever your friend, Richard Gadd?
No. Staff asked me that as well. No, I don't think so.
But you had a lot of banter with him.
Yeah, but banter's one thing. Scottish banter down here is quite kind of welcome. It's not really fun city, is it?
You liked him. You had a crush on him. You wanted that to be your man. You were obsessed with him. Come on.
Were you ever in love with him?
Yes. Is that a serious question?
Yeah.
No.
It's not a question of... By his own admission, he has said that he led you on at times. And he clearly
I gave him the brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked
Yeah,
you
she's literally like she's from the show. She's literally like she's from the show. Oh my God, the projection here is insane. It's insane. If Richard had literally said to this woman, like, all right, come on, Martha, get with it. Let's around and find out. She would have been at his house, trousers down, by 6 p.m. Okay, let's just be real. Can you guys? Yes, that is literally Martha speaking. I agree. Yes, curtains up, curtains down, baby. She would have been there. Also, can you guys tell? She's still obsessed with him. Whether you love or hate somebody, like, you can still be obsessed with him.
He said, would I like my curtains fixed? And I laughed. And he said, that's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you? And I said, I've got a boyfriend. I gave him the brush off big time, I think. You know, subtly so, but the bottom line is, I think this is behind him. No, I don't fancy him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs. That sounds awful. That sounds really, really callous, but, you know.
People will watch this who've watched the Netflix series, and like me, they will be trying to work out where the truth lies. It seems to me that either you're innocent in the way that you've claimed to be, and you've been horribly defamed here. I think at the very least, the Netflix duty of care and Richard Gadd's duty of care has been a spectacular failure.
I agree.
Right, everyone's worked out it's you, and the picture they paint is of a completely crazed stalker ruining a man's life, albeit he accepts that some of his behaviour may have led the person on.
Can I ask a question? Do you happen to know how much he's made out of this Netflix thing?
Well, considering you think that he doesn't have a real job, I feel like she's waiting for, you know, Piers to say he made some egregious amount of money and say, yeah, and he did that all because of me. He milked that from me. He doesn't have a real job. He's just making shit up. And then when somebody's that delulu, how do you argue with that, right? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Imagine several £1 million.
Yes, I would say 3 to 4 million. A lawyer I know well thought he was a wee nobody, and he suggested 750 to 100,000. I said, no, I think you're looking more about 3 or 4 million. And I think the more he publicises, it goes up. You know,
she just got the show more
according
views.
to how much it's streamed. I don't know what the contract they signed. I think he's done bloody well. He's making money out of untrue facts.
Wow.
He's been the ultimate misogynist. The actress was also not appealing for calm. He was appealing for calm. I think he did that to sort of stir things up more. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And I think your staff were talking about Martha, the sequel or something like this. It's just completely
That's what
crazy.
people are hinting at.
It's completely crazy. Well,
I would watch it. I would absolutely watch it. Make the next season where she goes on Piers Morgan. Like, it's all real.
How do you think it's come to this, if that's all true?
I think he wanted to make money. I think he picked on somebody. There was a backstory there with that Stalker article out there, right? So stalking's in vogue. Going to prison's in vogue. What do writers say, or English lecturers or something, write about what you know?
And to people who are watching, look down the barrel of that camera. To people who are watching this,
that's creepy.
And who
Stop.
still doubt you, what do you say to them?
Okay.
I think you should watch this. I think you should look at the number of articles that Richard Gadd and Jessica, the actress, have done, and how Netflix and he have promoted this. I think you should look at him saying, I am some sort of mental case, and judge for yourselves. Because I can't change your mind on this. I can just rebut what has been said. You need to make up your own minds. But my mind is made up. He's a liar. And my friends say likewise.
Thank you, Miss Fiona. We're gonna go now.